of health. A very good morning to one and all present here. Modern Public School has embarked on yet another journey to promote physical, behavioral, and emotional well-being, which are essential components of learning environment. And we, as educators, consciously encourage behaviors that promote well-being. Today, we have with us founders of Solh Wellness, Mr. Kapil Gupta and Dr. Tarun Gupta. We are extremely motivated by the presence of our Honorable Madam Principal, Ms. Ashhwika. I also acknowledge the presence of Vice Principal Ma'am, Headmistress Ma'am, members from Solh Wellness team, teachers and dear students. With these words, I request Madam Principal to accompany our revered guests for ceremonial lighting of the lamp. School has collaborated with Solh Wellness to empower the youth to build resilience, perseverance, and determination in order to lead a stress-free life. But before we begin the formal program, it is customary in the school to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guests. Hence, I request Madam Principal to please extend a warm welcome to Mr. Kapil Gupta. Can we hear it from him, please? We also have with us Dr. Tarun Sehgal, co-founder and CEO of Solh Wellness. Let's welcome Ms. Ashhwika from Ashhwika Foundation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. It's now time to introduce to all of you our esteemed panelists for today's session. So I take pleasure in introducing to you Mr. Kapil Gupta, mental health activist, founder and CEO of Solh Wellness, a mental health platform that aims to help people who are right at the brink of mental illness. A preventive measure to provide support before a person succumbs to the clutches of depression, anxiety, and many more such ailments. Mr. Gupta is in this domain for more than 2 decades now, with his journey dating back in the early 2000s, where he was a student at North Carolina State University in the US. Along his journey, Mr. Kapil lived and worked in the US for 10 years, meeting and interacting with multiple other working professionals who struggled with mental woes, which has given him quite an insight into the world of mental ailments and their causes. For the past 13 years as an entrepreneur, he is the founder of many organizations, Om Logic, one of India's biggest digital marketing agencies, Pragati E, a virtual exhibition platform, Frontlist, portal of the publishing industry, Advait Toys, a board game company changing the landscape of learning. Mr. Kapil is worried about the social change that COVID is bringing into the world and believes that the mental health challenges in the post-COVID world will far outdo the physical illnesses of the pandemic itself. A simple man with a simple living and clarity of thoughts. Let's welcome Mr. Kapil Gupta. We also have with us Dr. Tarun Sehgal, co-founder of Solh Wellness, an innovative tech platform revolutionizing preventive mental health. His vision for Solh Wellness app is to help people suffering from sadness, loneliness, and stress to get the much needed help instead of deteriorating into depression. Dr. Tarun Sehgal is a senior consultant psychiatrist and divisional director in a busy public health service and also work as a private psychiatrist. Dr. Sehgal has worked in mental health for more than 2 decades. He has developed various mental health related services and projects over the years. He accomplished post-graduation training in psychiatry from the Royal College of Psychiatry, UK, achieving member of the Royal College of Psychiatry MRC Psych qualification in 2009. He completed further special super specialization trainings in general adult psychiatry, rehabilitation psychiatry, and consultant psychiatry. Dr. Sehgal is passionate about service development in mental health, increasing awareness, destigmatizing, and prevention of mental health problems. Dr. Sehgal has been instrumental in developing an upcoming mental health well-being digital application called Solh app. We welcome you, sir. I also wish to introduce to you as today's panelist, Madam Principal Miss Alka Kapoor, CBSE and State Awardee, Principal of our school, Modern Public School, is an empowering leader, a zealous educationist and environmentalist with rich academic and administrative experience, offering an illustrious career of 33 years in educational research. Her selfless service as the principal has accorded the school a priceless status in Forbes India Marquee Edition, The Great Indian Schools. At present, Madam is the President, Delhi Sahodaya Schools Complex, member of FICCI Arise Committee, State Convener, New Delhi Global Edu Leader Forum, Vice President, Indraprastha School Sahodaya, Ambassador, International Education Council, Global Talk Education India, Executive Member of Quality Education Asia for Curriculum Development, District Training Coordinator, CEO West Region are just to name a few. Madam has earned for herself a place in the galaxy of star educators. She is known for her enriching sessions in various fields. She has attained an expertise in imparting value education and other psychological issues pertaining to mental health and well-being. She is a world record holder for conducting the world's largest talk show on mental health and well-being with an assemblage of over 30,000 people on various social media platforms by World Book of Records, United Kingdoms. And she has been the resource person for plethora of CBSE capacity building programs. She has been bestowed with over 100 prestigious honors and accolades at national, international, and state level for her innovative strategies and dedication. Madam is the pioneer to introduce unique CSR program Roti Bank in her school and in Delhi to help the underprivileged fight hunger. She is also an environmental crusader and has set the template for the futuristic green school. Sparkle in her eyes and the spirit of miles to go before I sleep defines her invincible and indomitable spirit. We welcome you, ma'am. Your presence is a motivation for us. With these words, I now hand over the mic to Mr. Kapil to proceed with the session.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Can everybody at the back hear me? Yes. So first of all, this is not going to be a session or a classroom. So it is not going to be me doing the talking here or Dr. Tarun doing the talking here. We are here for you all. Our objective of coming here, while we come from a business, we come from Solh Wellness. Our objective of being here is to be with you. It is to hear concerns and everything from your side. And please, I want to request all of you today for this next 30 to 40 minutes, do not inhibit, okay? Do not stop yourself from saying whatever comes to your head when we ask something. The session will only be valuable then. I know some of you are here just because you were asked to be here. Okay? You don't really understand or don't really care, at least right now, don't really care about why you are here or what you will get out of it, but you are here because the school asked you to. By the end of this session, by the end of the next 30 to 40 minutes that we will take here, okay, I want to ensure each one of you gets some value out of being here. Even if you are here because you are forced, you get some value out of being here. And that's really what's the objective behind us and us talking to you. So let me first start by asking the basic question. I mean, we are all here to talk about mental health. Everybody understands that? Can I ask if couple of you can stand up and tell me what do you understand by mental health? Anyone? People should have some point of view on this, right?
They must know about the words.
So let me start.
Anxiety,
See, mental health is an extremely misunderstood area. Okay? A lot of people think about mental health as the stress that a person may have. A lot of people look at mental health as issues of depression, as issues of anxiety, as people going through panic attacks. Yet, another form is people think about mental health as psychiatric disorders. People that may have autism, people that may have bipolar, people that may have schizophrenia, people that may have other sorts of aspects are looked upon as people with mental health issues. What I want to stand here and tell you is everybody, including the very respected principal ma'am, including the psychiatrist, the area expert, Dr. Tarun Sehgal, including myself, and including each one of you, we all have our own set of mental health issues. Okay? For me personally, how I really look at mental health is I need to keep moving forward in life. Now the fact that I need to keep moving forward in life, I will always have stress in life. Fair enough? You are in X grade today, you want to graduate to Y grade in the next 4 months, because you want to go from point A to point B. There will be thoughts going around in your head as to how you do that. And here I am just talking about your education. You want to make friends, you want to go, watch a movie, you want to do something else, and whatever else. Everything that you want to do will by itself come with some degree of question about how will you make that happen. Right? That stress in itself, okay, essentially means a lot of times you may not be at peace with you, or you may not be truly happy till you get there. And there is nothing getting there, right? When you get there, you will have the next portion that you want to get to. So mental health is about our ability, for all of us, mental health is about our ability to be at more peace with ourselves, to be more happy overall, and to ensure we are able to manage and we are able to live with the stress that life throws our way, or that comes with the choices or with everything that we do. Before I go forward, let me ask Dr. Tarun to actually come here and share some insights from his side.
Thanks, Kapil. And thanks everyone for organizing this. I think this is something very important as mental health. We all know that. You can all hear me well, okay? Isn't it? Yeah. So there's one thing what I would like to share, or maybe a message for all of you to take from here, is something, a very important word, which is emotions. And I think emotion is one thing which really dictates, which tells you, which describes your future in a lot of ways, how you will shape your future and how you will perform, how you will achieve in life in general. And emotion is one thing which is about your own health as a well-being. And you might have heard of the word emotional intelligence, and it's all related to how one can regulate and how one can really understand their emotion. And what I really want you to take a message is emotion is something very powerful. And it's important to talk about it. It's important not to feel shy expressing your emotions, how you're feeling. You may not be able to understand what exactly is the problem in terms of a terminology of that mental health. You may not understand what's going on. What you would know about yourself is something not right the way I feel about things now. And that is what most important part for you to start to understand. And what I say generally is, if you find anything with your emotions odd, let's talk. Go to the right person, talk to the person you confide with, and that is something you can do really for your own development. You might see people with a lot of degrees, lot of things, but they might not be successful in life. And you will find people who might not have done a lot of studies, and they might be at a much higher level, much more successful, and doing lots of different things. And the only difference which makes among these two group of people is how they manage their emotion. So that is one message what I would like you to have from here, that be very much mindful of, see how you can identify yourself and how you can learn to express your own self. And if there is something you need, make sure that you ask for and you look around for help for your own sort of self and for your emotion. What I would like to also make sure today's session is for you, it's not about us. So please feel free, ask things if whatever way you want, anything you want to ask about, just feel free to do that so as well. So anyone wants to talk about anything in particular you would like to share? And this is exactly it's about. There's nothing to feel shy, there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's all about that how you feel yourself, how you can express. Please go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
So how can we control our emotions and sometimes we are not able to control ourselves and we think that we are not supposed to.
So this is something very important, and that's the first step to start with, that now you understand about your emotion. And what's your name? Shivangi. Shubhangi. No, okay. So one important thing is, that's the first step to start with, that now you know that there is something about your emotion that you are finding it hard to control about and you want to address about something. So you know there's something is not right to start with. And the process starts with the process of reflection and how you can reflect on your own self when you find yourself with the emotion you don't decide or you don't agree with or you disagree with. And then you can look into how things could have been different, how you could have reacted different, how the thought process in your mind could go different in that situation. And that is something, a journey as a step, a scaffolding for you for the next such event. So when something like that will happen the next time, you will perform much better in terms of emotion the next time. So it's all about that, how you reflect on that. And the process, the more you reflect on, the more you will learn about regulating your own emotions. And that's the way actually. We all feel happy, unhappy with things around us. And you might come back that I don't like this person is doing this person is doing that, I don't want to talk to this person again, and this person talked bad about me. So you have to think in your mind, this is the other person, but the emotions are generating in you. And why is that this other person is making you have these kind of emotions? Because of somebody else's behavior. And how you can bring that change in your own self, that why should you be bothered with somebody else behaving in something you don't agree with. So again, it's a lot about your own self, reflecting about your own self. And this is what, through our app, we are giving this one of the option is how people can reflect on, how you can go back and look at the time when you felt, say, angry about yourself, when you felt rather peaceful about yourself, what kind of time you're going through at that time. And you can reflect through that as a process. So very, very sensible question, great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, please. And your name first, please.
How emotion controlling can help us?
Sorry, how?
How emotion controlling can help us?
How emotion controlling can help us.
So the question is how controlling emotions can help us. So the thing is, the way you react in certain situations, the way you react in certain scenarios is very much will lead to the consequence or the result of that scenario. You're meeting with someone for the first time and you meet with that person who might be a very important person, who might have something to do in your long term, your career, in your life, and you meet with them in a very unhappy or in a mood which is not receivable well by the other person. But that will have its own consequences. And irrespective of your background, irrespective of whoever you are, that first impression is very important when you interact. And it all starts with that how you have your own emotion, how you can control. And it may be that someone is quite rude to you and you may end up keeping yourself calm. And say, for an example, on a street you're driving and the road rage is happening or something like that, and there will be a group of people, they may fight back for it, there will be people who will just let it go. So it all depends, and whatever the decision you make is controlled by the way you have your own emotions and how you express. And that will have its own consequences. So that's why it's very, very important that how you can have your own understanding of the emotions, how you control that, and how you can make your own future for yourself. Yeah, come on, please.
Is it okay to have a poker face on and being an introvert? Louder.
Louder, please.
is it okay to have a poker face on and be the introvert?
So there's nothing right or wrong about any of this. It's about you. It's about you. What is you are comfortable with. So this is what I'm trying to say here. It's not about hiding your emotions. So emotions are very powerful. So by having a poker face, you're trying to say that I don't want to talk about, I want to hide about something there. And this is what the message I started with, is something about the emotion. Emotions are very, very powerful thing, and it's very important that we are not shy about talking about it. And the way you feel is something you can learn through. You can teach others as well. If you master that part, you teach others. So yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
How do we know that who is the right person with whom we can share our emotions?
So I think this is where one of the platforms, the school is doing great things here. So I must say, your principal ma'am, she has been creating and she has been talking so much about mental health and well-being. And that's where the school is giving this opportunity to have the counselors in school as well. I saw one of the rooms here as counselor room, isn't it? You got one of. So there are people you can talk, and the reason is, talking to a counselor or someone you can confide, they're very non-judgmental. They're not looking into that what is right or wrong. They are there to give you the direction, to understand you, where you are coming from. So always you will have your friend you can talk to, you can confide to your parents if you're close to them, and that's how it goes as a journey. Whoever you find as the right person is the right one to start with. And it's all about that, how you seek help, how you look into that. If you find something odd with your emotions, and that's where you have to look into talking to the right
Can
person.
I ask Ashhwika to answer this, because you've sailed through this, and you've kind of experienced who is actually the right person to confide in.
So,
Stand up, Ashhwika.
hi. So, I'm a 15-year-old girl. If people do not know that already, please don't be scared of me. I'm not old. One thing is that I myself, my mother knows me, and we have a foundation, our NGO, our knowledge partner is Solh, with our NGO partners, Ashhwika Foundation. So we work on mental health as well. That's why we're present here today. For me, when I was 3, all this happened. So I was very young, and that time I grew up to the age I am today. So I never felt that I could share it with anyone, even my mother. We used to share a room at that time, because obviously I was a child. I used to stay up till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock at night, and I used to just howl in the pillow so that she doesn't wake up or she doesn't hear anything. But now that I've come to this level, I've healed myself, I understand that sharing is something that is very important, and sharing to the right person, who for me was someone I could trust, and for me was someone who I felt that emotional connect to, because for me I cannot just share to a random person. However, there were these counselors in school, as ma'am has here as well. My teacher, Miss Anahat, and my teacher, Miss Gitanjali, they both helped me a lot to get over what I was dealing with internally. Because sometimes it's just that you need to say it out loud, and you just need to tell someone and break down in front of them for yourself to feel that yes, my emotions are valid, and yes, I'm a human being like everyone else, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah.
So you feel talking to someone who's more experienced will be better rather than talking it over to your peers?
For me, yes, it was, because talking to your peers, you can, get that emotional support. Of course, they'll just listen to you, or they can be like, yeah, I'm going through the same thing. I understand. It just happens to everyone. But that's not it when you say it to an elderly person, or you say it to someone who's experienced in that field. Because when I talk to my counselors versus when I talk to my peers just were like, yeah, theek hai, it happens, whatever, whatever. But my counselors actually heard me, and they understood what I was going through. They helped me cope up with what I was going through, and helped me feel validated at that point, which I think is the most important thing for a child at such an age.
Thank
Sir,
you.
as a teacher, I want to ask one thing. Students come to us, to ma'am, to me, and many more teachers. We listen to them, but what if they are going through a panic attack or something? What should be our first step after listening to them? First step is listening to them. We should listen quietly and calmly, and then what step we should take?
It's about, first of all, panic attack. I don't know how many of us or how many of you understand what is a panic attack. So it is again one of those terminology which can be used to a very different thinking to different people to start with. So in a very simple term, a very high level of anxiety in a particular specific situation is what we describe a panic attack is. And the thing with panic attack is that you will find very specific physical health related symptoms. That someone will, in a panic attack, you will find that your breathing gets faster, you will find tightness in your chest, you'll find yourself getting sweaty hands, you find maybe feeling nausea, you'll find your heart is racing, or maybe a feeling that something really wrong is happening to your body and you're about to die, or something really drastic going to happen. So it can happen in a fraction of a second. Sometimes it triggers in certain situations for people, sometimes it can trigger from nowhere and it just happens as one of the sort of mental condition, it just happens. So to answer to your question that how to tackle that, so there are two aspects. One is someone in that particular event of a panic attack, that how you deal with it. So of course, if someone is going through that kind of panicky feeling in that moment of that panic attack, it's important to have somewhere asking them to be in a calm place, quiet place, and teaching them how to breathe slowly. And one of the very simple thing is that, okay, let's do inhale breathing and count to 4, hold on for 2 seconds, and just wait 1 and 2 to hold your breath, and then you just exhale counting to 6. And that is something which will help not to hyperventilate. So hyperventilate means that you will start breathing quite faster. And when you breathe quite faster, then you will find more symptoms happening, the more physical health things will start, you'll feel a bit dizzy in your head, and that can happen to anyone of you. If you just try breathing quite fast or hyperventilate, you'll feel a bit dizzy. And that's what happens in that mode of panic attack. So the breathing control is quite important, and that will help gently to calm down that situation. Then the next step is that how to prevent that from happening again in the future, and that's where it's important to seek that help, to identify what were the triggers, what brought it on at that particular moment, and how you can reflect on yourself preventing, and how you can behave in a different way in that moment, or how you can help your own thought process not to get to have this kind of feelings or this kind of emotions there. So that's generally the process. Then seeking help from experts is the best thing. So someone like your counselor in house, you can talk to, or you can see a psychologist who can really train and help you identifying those triggers if something like that is there. I hope that answers for you.
We are following these steps. I wanted to know if we are following the correct procedure.
No, you're doing it right then.
May I address this issue?
Hello everyone. So this issue is something that belongs to me. I have experienced it myself, the panic attacks, everything. This is when your life is in a confused state of mind. When you feel your plate is too full and you're not able to handle it. So the whole idea is when I realize this, I feel nature is the best healer. Go back to your roots. If I may ask you, what is it that troubles you? And a lot of it owes to the social media. Would you agree with me? Yes. How many of you agree with me on this? Because you feel, oh wow, this life is so happy. His life is so good. He is enjoying so much. And look, what am I doing? I'm sulking. And here you have an example of a 15-year-old girl. She is still a student in a school. I know of another student who, when he used to leave the house, used to check on Google कि मेरे इस रास्ते में कितने hospitals आएंगे, क्या वो मुझे equipped हैं treatment देने के. And when I asked him, what healed you? आप ठीक कैसे हुए? And he says, सब छोड़ दिया. Social media, comparison, peer pressure, सब छोड़ दिया. जैसे पुराने कपड़े उतारते हैं और नए कपड़े पहनते हैं, अपने जीवन को वो दिशा दी. And trust me, it's in your hands. When he says, control your emotions, I feel and I say, keep your remote control in your hands. Don't give it to others. The road rage when they talk about, it's his problem, not your problem. He's shouting, it's his problem. You don't need to reciprocate in the same language.
You move on the road, a dog is barking. How many of you start barking in return? Anyone? No. So in your mind, treat it like that, but keep your calm, keep your cool, breathe well, and just give a smile. You make the other person powerless when you don't react. And the moment you will react, his level will go up and finally your level will start coming down. So the best way to handle this is don't react and keep your remote control in your hand. And Brentano, he is a good researcher, a very big scientist, and he researched on the human consciousness of a mind. And he says the worst part is the mind compares. The mind feels this person's life is much better than mine. This person is smiling, and when before this session we were sitting inside, I was saying, कितनी videos देखी हैं, लड़ रहे होते हैं, बच्चा रो रहा है. The moment camera comes, there's the smile. You all do it, we all do it. So simply seeing a picture with a smile, please don't get swayed by that. Every life has a struggle, and the only solution is talk it out. Conversation. बात करने से ही बात बनती है. You will get solutions, but again, talking to the right person at the right time will save you of many problems. And when I asked Ashhwika to answer this question, I genuinely meant it. We the teachers are experienced to handle it. We have researched, we have done a series of studies over the past years. Your parents, everyone else may wish that you get derailed, but your parents will not. और last in आप faith अगर किसी में दिखाते हैं तो वो parents में और teachers में, जबकि वो आपका first point of contact होना चाहिए if you are in need. And please, once again I say, talk it over. अपना remote control अपने हाथ में रखो और दूसरे की उस टाइम की जिंदगी को देख के इतने खुश नहीं हो. अगर आप सोचोगे ना मेरे पास इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, प्लीज गो टू अ मेंटल असाइलम, प्लीज गो टू मॉर्चरी, प्लीज गो टू अ शमशान घाट, एंड यू विल सी कि आपसे ऊपर कितने लोग हैं. और द अदर डे आल्सो आई वाज टेलिंग ईच वन ऑफ यू, द बेस्ट रेमेडी इज write down your blessings, how blessed you are. So it will address many of these things. And when we talk about mental health and wellness, of course, it is in our hands to create a better world for each other, and that will certainly come by empathy, come by feelings, caring, sharing. Each one of us must adopt another person and make sure I have to beautify his life. अगर आप किसी को खुशबू हाथ में देते हो, गुलाब देते हो, इसके बाद अपने हाथ को स्मेल करते हो, तो उसकी खुशबू आपके पास भी रहती है. मगर अगर आप किसी को बदबूदार चीज देते हो तो उसकी बदबू आपके अपने हाथ में भी रहती है. So try to make this world a better planet for everyone around you. And it's not my stage, it's not my day to day. The stage is theirs, and the questions have to be from your end. So I hand it over to them. Thank you.
I have one point that I want to make. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your thoughts. And thank you so much, Ashhwika, for sharing your information and how you dealt with your problems. See, yeah, please go ahead.
Is it compulsory to express our emotions at every situation?
No. No, it's not. In fact, that is what I was just going to say. A very important part of mental health, unlike any other disease that you will see ever, okay? You get corona, there is a set pattern. If you are not able to smell or something, you get your testing done. If it is the first or the second day, you take Dolo. If you have gone to the 5th day, you take Remdesivir. If you have gone to the 8th day, you take Tocilizumab. And then you start checking your breathing, and then you order a concentrator, and then you go to the hospital. There is a pattern. Similarly, you get a viral infection or you have fever, you wait for a day. If fever doesn't go, you take a medicine. If fever doesn't go away, you go to a doctor, you take an antibiotic, and then you wait for 7 days. If it still doesn't go, then you probably get yourself checked for typhoid or something. And there is a pattern. The most important aspect of mental health is, number one, for most of us, it's not a disease. Number two, for most of us, there is no pattern. Some of us would be people that would choose to express everything that comes to our head. And it is absolutely fine. For some of us, we don't want to. And it is fine too. For some of us, we will want to hear from other people's experience as to what they have gone through. For some of us, we would want to talk to our teachers or a counselor in school. For some of us, we would want to talk to our parents. For yet others, it could be your sibling, your brother or your sister or your cousin, living somewhere. For some of us, it could be our friend, probably the person that you are sitting next to right now. Everybody has a complete, and I know some of you are saying, yeah, it's the next person sitting next to me. It's individual, it is unique, it is your mental health. You get to decide what to do with it. You get to decide when or if you need any support. What we want to tell you is, decide when you need support. Do not keep it inside of you without dealing with it. What that dealing with means is yours. In fact, that is one of the reasons when we started Solh Wellness, that is really how we looked at the problem. Our basic motto, or what we tell people is, we are not a platform that tells you how to deal with your mental health. I don't think anybody, he is qualified to hear you and give you a custom solution. Okay, but he's been doing it for the last 20 years. He's probably the only one here that has that level of experience in mental health purely to handle everybody around here. But when we started looking at mental health, we said everybody needs a unique journey. Not everybody is at the point where they should go talk to a counselor or go talk to a therapist or go do something else. But everybody needs some level of support. If they don't need it today, probably tomorrow something will happen for which they will need support. So what we looked upon as Solh Wellness is, we said the ideal job of somebody working in a mental health platform need to enable tools and solutions that people can use for their comfort, that people can use when they need it, which is why we created a plethora of different solutions. Okay, and we ask people to use that and use it in the form, you can say if your question is answered, and use it in the form that is suitable for them. Let me give you examples. Some of you just need a place to express yourself. Okay, there is something that happened, and at times you can't share it with your best friend, and you certainly can't share it with your parents, and there is no way in hell you can share it with your teachers, and there is nobody around that you could say it to. But there is something that's bothering you inside. There is something that you need to say out somewhere. One answer for those who are professionally very sound, they can go scream in a pillow and it will be over for them. Let me tell you, it still doesn't work for me. Okay, I can't scream in a pillow. I know that's not my answer. So for some of you, we have created a place where you can just go express yourself. You don't need to even go there and put your name. If you are comfortable putting your name or your identification, fantastic. Again, it's your choice. However, if you are not, you can just go do this anonymously. Okay, we give you that option. Go there, say what you have to say, whatever experience you have had, whatever support you may require, or however you think something that you have gone through may be beneficial to others. Just a place that we call as journaling. You can go in there and you can express yourself. That would be one mode of how people would get help. The other mode could be you want to seek help from others. You want to see what others have gone through. There are support groups that we have created. Support groups could be about bullying. I am sure all of you, okay? So the schools get divided in 3 categories. People that don't care, people that get bullied, and people that bully. Let me tell you, people that get bullied is probably the largest portion amongst the 3. People that bully will probably be the second largest portion. People that don't care are, they are there. It's not like they are not, but they are lesser in number. And bullying is not somebody is tall and strong and is a bully. Okay? Bullying could be intellectual bullying. For some of us who may not be great in one subject gets bullied in that subject by others who may be better in that subject. So there are groups we have created around bullying. There are groups that we have created around adolescent issues. General issues of growing up. When you are 15, some of the boys have a problem of, oh, my friends, 3 friends in my class have started having some mustache and I don't. Do I look too young? How, and then there are body shape issues, that everybody has, right? The tall have an issue, I'm too tall, the smaller ones have an issue, I'm too small, and the ones in the middle have an issue, I'm just average. Right? And similarly, the ones too thin have a problem, they are too thin, the ones too fat have a problem, they are too fat, and the others think they are just average. The ones too white have a problem, they are too white, and I can keep going on and on and on and on. Everybody goes through that. So you may want to then go through support groups. Maybe go through support groups of adolescent issues, maybe go through support issues of body types, maybe go through support issues of bullying, and there are, of course, in our platform, because it is not just for kids, there will be support issues for many other categories. You could go and read what other people have gone through, or maybe even ask your specific queries of what to do with it. You could be somebody that just, struggles with keeping themselves on track. So we have created a solution there called as goal setting. Go there, select the area, just put what goal you want to achieve or how you want to achieve, and then track yourself against that. Okay, what did you achieve in a day, what did you achieve in a week, what did you achieve in a month? And if you are on track, the solution could come back and tell you you are not on track. So you set up a goal for yourself and then you are not doing so great. By the way, you can also do that goal setting with the person next to you. You can also do that support group with the person next to you. Or you can also do this expression with the person next to you. Just that we have created a platform, a solution that you could use to do that. Then you could look at things like we have a solution that is called as mood tracking. Somebody here was asking about how do I know that the person, who's the right person to talk to, okay, or who's the wrong person to talk to. What I always tell people is when we created this solution called as mood tracking, okay, we had one objective. However, over the period of time, it has evolved into a completely different solution. So I tell people, you go to the mood tracking solution and you put your mood every day. Okay, one day you could be angry, the other day you could be blissful. One day you could be extremely frustrated, the other day you could be neutral. You could have whatever emotion you have in your head. Then you could go back and you could see, here was a week that I was supremely happy. There may be an uncle or an aunt or a cousin that you guys hate. Okay, everybody has the ones that they love and everybody has the ones that they hate. There could be somebody that you think you hate. And you go back to your mood tracking tool and you see, these 5 days I was extremely happy. But that uncle or that aunt was visiting. How could that be? Or I think I love this particular person in my life, and these 4 days I was with them and it looks like my mood tracker says I was not doing as well. It gives you so many insights into your life. Mental health for anybody that doesn't have a need to go to a therapist, or that is not going through a panic attack, or that is not at the stage where they need immediate help. Mental health for all of us is having a set of tools and solutions, a set of capabilities with each one of us that we can use as and when we want to. When we are too upset, or when we are too happy, or when we have no reason to be either. In all cases, you could keep on working on your mental health. One of the things that I tell all school people, all students, and more importantly, all teachers and the school owners, there are students and they need support with improving their grades. One idea is you look at the subject that they are weakest on and you spend X amount of time and increase their grade in that particular subject by 5%. There is another solution that I want to give you. Work on the mental health of that person. The thought process or removing the blockings that that person has. Invest the same amount of time and I can bet that person's scores, that person's grades, not in that one subject, in all subjects will grow up 5%. That's the kind of thought or that's the kind of objective that we want to come here and present to you. So with that, I asked earlier if somebody has any mental stress, anything that they go through, anything that they are facing right now, or that may not be with them, but they know somebody next to them has that. If you guys want to share, please do, so we can come and tell you how you can really support yourself. Yeah, please.
So sometimes even when we try our best, we are not able to come upon others' expectations. So should we blame ourselves for that?
You want to take that?
So, I think it's important actually, again, what you're talking about and what we were saying earlier, it's about others' expectation. So is that what you really have the expectation? So what you're trying to achieve is somebody else's hopes and wishes and expectations there. And it's important to have that understanding and you can openly share about that, is it really what you want to do or not? And that's where the communication gap is, that's where the understanding or misunderstanding is. And if you try to achieve something, you never have your heart in there, that will not be easy to achieve that. And that will already have your own mental blockage, that this is not something I want to do, but I'm trying to achieve without having that, the whole heart or the emotions and the feelings around that to achieve it. And whatever hard you will do to achieve, that will again lead you to have much more level of frustration than to have the results what you want to see. Rather to have that openness in that discussion, that is it really, can we do it in a different way, can we do something differently, this is what my area of interest is. And things are important, but not everything is equally important in every aspect. So you have to follow your passion as well, and that is something as schools, they try to identify people and they try to sort of make them grow in their own field and their expertise. So not everyone is going to do everything, but all of you will do something, and something unique to you. So that's what I would say.
So, yeah, please go ahead.
So sometimes we fake our feelings for others and we try to act in another way for their happiness. So is it okay when we are even uncomfortable for it?
So again, this is something you can share with the person, and that's where I started the session by saying that emotions are very powerful, they're very precious for us, and it's important to talk about it. And when you say that you're doing something different, that's where you're trying to identify as well that what is that you have to do, and then you can go to the person and say, look, this is how I feel, and is there something we can do more, and is there something we can do different? Because the feeling what they are generating in you is as a result of, again, somebody else's way, the way they are behaving. And that emotions are leaving you with the way you want to do something different which you are not comfortable with. So again, it's okay to have that conversation, and that's where it's important. I think in other very simple things, we invest a lot on our studies in a way. You have your maths class and you have your English and science classes and everything. It's okay maybe once in a while in schools to have a session, openly talk about that, how we feel, how our emotions are, and how we can reciprocate to each other in certain way, and how we can learn to have that better understanding. And something like that, even a half an hour class once every, say, 3 months, 4 months, will teach you a lot about your own self, about people around you, and a lot of learning from that. So I think that is something you can sort of come.
So, couple of things that I want to say in this. And I think Dr. Tarun hit the right point by saying, sometimes it is okay to openly talk to your teachers. One of the things that I have found very powerful at times, and I want to recommend it to teachers, every once in a while, take a class where you, instead of doing teaching, you sit with your face facing the wall. and you let students ask and say whatever they want to. Of course, for you to be able to do that, the class needs to be intelligent enough, smart enough, or disciplined enough that they are not just going to run out, that they are actually going to make use of the time. But sometimes you need that. You need to be able to say it out, to talk it out. The other thing that I must also mention is, whenever you think you are fulfilling somebody else's expectation, ask yourself the question, is it important or is it not important? I'm not just saying, is it your expectation or not? Okay, but is it important or is it not important? If it is not important, you need to first find out for yourself why it is not important. And a lot of times we don't really do that. We just say it's important, it's not important. But find out for yourself why you think it is or why you think it is not important, and then do that communication. I think somebody at the back wanted to ask a question. Yes, please.
And maybe it could be due to personal issues. So how can you overcome that?
Moment you have a mental breakdown, actually, let me backtrack a little. Moments before you have a mental breakdown, or a while before you have a mental breakdown, start thinking about what's really going on. Okay? There is an internalized and there is an external process for you to get support. Both are equally important. Okay? You need to look at from your perspective what is it that was going on, and then you need to quickly identify the avenues of support. The problem that a lot of people, specifically people at younger ages, face is they are not comfortable in going out and seeking support, and they really struggle with that. I think that's what Ashhwika was also talking about. For a fairly long time, she would just howl in her pillow, okay, or she will just face whatever she was going through by herself. I think what is extremely important is for all of us to be open. There is a lot of stigma that is, or a lot of taboo that is associated with, oh, you have this problem, why are you talking about it? Why do you have this problem to begin in the first place? I think we all in the current society need to move beyond that. I used to think like that a few years back, but since we have had, the last 2 years, the scenarios in the last 2 years, I think it is extremely important for all of us. We need to be able to open up and find avenues to seek support. When I say open up, I want to be very clear. Those who are introverts will remain introverts. My opening up doesn't mean if you are an introvert or want to keep to yourself, you now need to go tell everybody whatever is going on. No, absolutely not. Open up means your ability to seek support. That support could be internal or that support could be external.
One thing to add to that, what you asked specifically is around some kind of personal stressor and how it leads to the breakdown. And this is one of the reasons why we are having this session, to increase the awareness. Most of the, or rather all the mental disorders, they just don't happen overnight. There's a process for it. And the more awareness, the early on signs, if you can identify and seek help, you will not get to that stage of the mental breakdown. And that's what the whole idea is, how we can increase awareness to have a level of prevention that someone is not getting to that level. And just when you're already identifying that there's something different starting to happen, and that something different could be, you might find yourself, mood is getting more irritable, you may not be sleeping as well as before, you may find yourself easily getting angry in yourself, or something different you notice, and that's the kind of start of that something is bothering you. And the more you know about it, the earlier you can seek help, and that's the reason we are generating this whole discussion here, to have that knowledge and how you can make it preventive rather than getting to the point of that breakdown. But at each point you can seek help, wherever you are. Yeah.
So it is necessary to avoid social media to stay happy.
And this one I want.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. Along with being a mental health activist, I also run a digital marketing agency. Okay. And I am not saying it because it promotes my business, but I am saying it because that's not the right answer. Okay. There are 3 things that you definitely need to do. Number 1, before you go on social media, be clear. Be 100% clear. Whoever it is, that person doesn't really wear the clothes that you see them wearing all day. Number one. That person doesn't really travel to all the places that you see them posting pictures of all day. Number three, that person doesn't really eat the food that they keep posting on all day. And number four, that person doesn't really meet all the celebrities that they keep talking about all day. If you can, yes please.
Can it be like that may not be the person that we are talking to?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. If you can convince or if you know these four are true, and I think last few years should have given us a lot of insight into that. Now let me get you guys to start thinking about it. How many actors and actresses in the last 2 years have talked about their issues of depression? Or have talked about their issues or challenges that they faced from their mental health perspective? See, and that's an extremely important aspect of what you need to remember when you go to social media. Okay? People post there what they think they want you to see, not what they are facing themselves. In fact, and while I'm saying do not avoid social media completely, I should also say we created something very similar to Instagram in the form of journaling for us with 3 key differences. Number one, and most important, it is a committed mental health space. So people over there will not be doing their promotion. People over there are expected to talk mental health. So you and them can get support. Number two, it can be anonymous, which is a huge problem for a lot of us. So that was point number one, that you need to be clear that you are going to social media and seeing a movie. The person is an actor in the movie or an actress in the movie. The person is not the life itself. It's a movie. So watch it like that. Okay? And the same thing you should see in movies. When you see people wearing certain kind of clothes, eating certain kind of food, having certain kind of life, it's a movie. It's meant to be like that. It's meant to entertain you. Get yourself entertained. Okay? See what is of value to you and move away. Number one. Number two, that you absolutely need to do is to figure out what are you doing on social media. Not just whether you are there or not there. What are you doing? How is it providing value to yourself? That value could be educational, that value could be entertainment, or that value could be, just wasting time. Just talking to people, just networking, just reading whatever is there. But what is it that you are doing? That is the second important aspect that I must mention that you should look at from a social media perspective. And third and probably the last, definitely not the least, when you go on social media, okay, start looking at and dividing your social media now. Facebook and Instagram, and for that matter most other social channels that we use today, they are channels that are generic. They in a lot of ways have become pure entertainment now. What you will start seeing over the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years is people are going to come up with vertical niche oriented social media channels. There will be a social media channel which will only be fashion. There will be a social media channel which will only be food. There will be a social media channel which will only be something specific. So over a period of time, start looking out for what are your interest areas and identify channels, places, networks where you should go to for that specific genre, for that specific, entertainment, education, whatever you want, for that specific whatever. Does that answer your question?
Can I add one more? Limit your time, because here
Absolutely.
your core business is to clear class 12 with good marks, with good skills, with something that makes your life in future. But if you don't limit that time, all the time on social media may make you wiser in one way, but that's not what your core business is right now.
Yep. I always tell people who are in class 11, those are it. Go through your 12, get admitted into a good college.
Yeah.
Nobody who ever got into, there may be very total borderline cases, let me not talk about them, but nobody ever gets into an IIT or a Delhi College of Engineering and not graduate from there. Nobody ever gets into an AIMS or a good medical college and not graduate from there. Nobody ever gets into a good institute and not graduate from there. This, the school time, specifically when you are in high school, there is an importance which is for your career. Figure out what you want for your career and then kind of go through that. So I absolutely agree, ma'am. While I'm saying no, you should not just think about avoiding social media completely. You need to limit your time and do all of the other things that we talked about.
I just like to add one thing. Being a 15-year-old myself and going on social media every day, I see like 10 people who are always there, and even right now when I go in the car, I'm going to go home and see like, oh my god, she has a size 9 waist. I wish I had a waist like that, Definitely I'm going to say that. I'm going to show it to mom also. I'm going to be like, mom, ab gym join karna hai, ab please, But that's not always the case that happens, and I feel like everyone on social media shows the best part of their life, like everyone has said here. It's not like how many of us have actually gone on social media and posted a video or photo of us actually being vulnerable and showing that we're crying on camera or on reels, No one, like barely 1% of the people who actually use social media show that they're crying themselves and what they've gone through. But it's all just happy faces, and as Sir said, they don't actually eat kale and smoothies and those beautiful aesthetic rooms that they have. It's not like that. It's just all fake. Even when I click some photos for social media, I'm like, I'm taking out all this makeup stuff and I'm putting my laptop here, putting the background, aesthetic RGB lights, and I'm going to click it like that. But it's not that's not how I study. I study normally in my bed with my laptop on the table. So it's nothing like that, and that's all I want to
Don't use that as an excuse when you go home to say, I should not study on my study table.
No, I study on my bed.
I'll add it here. This friend of mine, she lives in Ludhiana. So I saw on her page that she was vacating in, enjoying a vacation in Goa. And I called her up. I said, where are you? She says, Kariya. But your picture says that you are in Goa. Kadi lokam sadana bhi to hai. So this is a old post, Didi. This is a old post which I have reposted because koi comments hi nahi aa rahe the, kuch karne ko hi nahi tha. So there are those kind of people also, if that answers to what you say, okay?
I have to add something.
So this workshop is going from serious to fun now, okay? Enjoy.
Yes. Hello everyone, I'm Shama Soni. I'm mother of Ashhwika and the founder for Ashhwika Foundation. Founder of Ashhwika Foundation. Thank you ma'am for the insightful discussion on mental health. But one point I want to emphasize on, somebody was asking that sometimes we do something just to make others happy and fake our emotions. So this question is like my point towards teachers who are mothers also, that don't put the pressure on your child that okay, आपको class में first आना है, second आना है, आपको law करना है, आपको ये करना है. Don't put that pressure. When they come home, talk to them how happy you are today. What happy moment did you enjoy? अरे क्या था class में क्या हुआ? कल test कौन सा है? And then that way your child will open up to you, communicate more. That's what I want to tell you. Communication is the key. Like my daughter, she said, "Mama को तो समझ ही नहीं आएगा मैं क्या चाहती हूँ." आप समझाने की कोशिश करोगे तो मम्मा को समझ आएगा. So from your point of view also,
and now she's my best friend.
Try explaining yourself. And as a mother, I want don't try to judge your children. Don't try to fix them. अच्छा ऐसा फील हो रहा है, चलो ये खा लो. ये कर रहे हैं, सारा प्रॉब्लम तो फोन का ही है. फोन मत देखो 1 घंटा. So just listen to your children. Don't try to fix them. And then they will develop their trust with you and they will open up. Now to the children in the school, we have a lot of pressure on ourselves. I'm talking as a child. So what we try to do, if we are not able to achieve anything better, we try to demean the other one. उसको भी तो ये हुआ ना, तेरा ये अच्छा नहीं है, तेरे मार्क्स इसमें कम आए हैं. Try to be kind. Kindness is the key. Try to be kind to the other person. You will see, you will have more friends. Because at times what we see, if you have grief, talking out your grief is not easy, but taking out in your anger is much easier. if a person is getting angry at all the times or more often, hug them. Just be with them and they will have more bonding and they will open up to you. Am I right?
Very good. And I would say that it's not that the children are in stress or they need help. The teachers are in equal stress because their duty is to teach you and polish you and chisel you. And if the cooperation doesn't come, even they are in a lot of stress because they are answerable to the principal, to your parents. So don't think stress आपके साथ ही है. अगर नर्सरी के बच्चे को जाके पूछेंगे ना, उसको भी बहुत स्ट्रेस है क्योंकि उसको ABC याद ही नहीं हो रही है. आपके लिए कितना इजी है ना ABC याद करना. So probably stress comes when you do even the simplest things not in the right manner but in the wrong manner. So sometimes it takes a longer route and lands you up in stress or depression. If you follow rules, life is easy, life is enjoyable, and you can have the best of everything. You can spend your time on social media, you can spend your time with friends, but do the right things at the right time. Right now, you must understand कि अब हमारे साथ भी ऐसा होता है. I mean, कल मुझे एक वर्कशॉप अटेंड करनी है, सारा दिन इधर जाएगा. So I have to train my mind accordingly. After all, it's all about the mind. It's a mind game. Train your mind and the best will come to you. Yes. How many of you have seen the movie Guzarish? All of us. उस पिक्चर में this who's the hero? देखो सब मालूम है आपको. अगर कभी मैं साइंस का कोई चैप्टर पूछूंगी ना तो बोलेंगे मैम स्ट्रेस देती है. So this boy Hrithik Roshan, his body is not working, but his mind is active. His mind is healthy. He is happy, and even in that state on bed, he is enjoying life. So it's all about the mind. And I have seen the healthiest people when the mind is not happy, they are living lives like a vegetable. So my request to all of you is stay happy. No matter whatever the situation is, there is a solution to everything. And it's okay to not be okay. Talk it over and the solutions will come. Over to the experts now.
Thank you so much. So, yes please.
There's a problem with my friend Katie. Whenever she talks to teachers or talks with her heart rate rises up and her body gets weaker. So
That's for you.
So I think this is something what we see when people have a level of anxiety problems. So anxiety is something, again, like most of the mental health problems, it's one of those, it just doesn't happen overnight. So again, people have their own experiences in life, and from those experiences, all of us perceive things around us. And we perceive in a way, in our own way, and we all perceive in a different manner to those particular situations. And some of us, from those experiences in life, develop a level of what we see as in a form of anxiety. That certain situations, certain kind of things makes us more anxious as compared to others. So, of course, there's a genetic and there are a lot of things in relation to that as well. But the important thing is to come out of it. Again, the process starts from that you need to identify, first of all, that there is something I'm not comfortable with, I need to do something about it. When you have that kind of thought process start, then you will start looking into the next step, what can I do different about it? And then you start learning about your own self, what situation make you feel anxious, what particular situation make you feel less anxious, and how I can behave in a different way, how I can prepare myself for certain situations so that I don't get to feel that level of anxiety. And that's where the help from expertise or expert people, and that's where it comes that they can help as well. So not everyone has that ability to able to reflect. And that's why there are experts around. That's why you have all the psychologists, counselors, psychiatrists, doctors around. So to a certain level, you all can do and self-help. The more you know about yourself, you can do those things. Not that every time you will be able to achieve that. But that's where it's important. You find the right person, you seek help, and then you follow the process. And all of these conditions are treatable. So provided you have the ability to identify and seek help for yourself in time. So, thank you.
Yes, please. I'm sorry?
What teenagers?
Negative thoughts. Why is a teenager prone to negative thoughts?
Firstly, I don't think I would agree with that statement that teenagers are more prone to negative thoughts. Teenagers at times may amplify the negative thoughts more in their own head, more because anytime things don't go right for them, they start coupling that over and amplifying that over with everything else that did not go right.
So it's not just about teenagers. We all have negative thoughts. I don't think anyone in this room can say that they never had any negative thoughts. We all do have time to time. And it's not bad to have negative thoughts, because when you start seeing something there, then you also try to look for the other side of the coin as well. But the issue is, it shouldn't be just the one side of it, and how you can learn about having and sharing the whole picture of this particular situation. It's about the learning. If there's nothing about that I just have this or that, it's about that because you want to see in that way. And sometimes when we are depressed, that is one of the signs of depression, is we see things around us, in us, and around the world around us. We see things in a very negative way. And that is one of the things, is to identify, is it really something right, what is happening, do I need to do something else as well or not? I think you want to say something else.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, being a teenager, I can understand why you think we're more prone to it, because of course we have academics be here, extracurriculars also, you need to make friends, maintain that social group also, go out but not that much, study but not that much, study a lot in front of mom but not that much behind her back. So all this is there. However, it's for every age group. Like ma'am said, even a nursery kid is like A, B, C, D yaad nahi ho rahi. Now what do I do? What comes after D? That B yaad nahi ho raha. So that's also stress for them. That's also like, God, yeah, I've not done so much. Everyone else knows till F and I don't know E. So that is also there. But for me, when it happened, when I had contact with my father, was when I was 3. So after that, I've never, met him. But I think from then only, I always had this negative thought for myself. It was like, oh, it's my fault, I need to be better than everyone else to prove myself to others, So I think it's not only for teenagers per se, but of course it's more highlighted for teenagers everywhere, because social media also, again, coming back to that, social media also shows that, these 15-year-old girls, 17-year-old girls having like the perfect bodies, beach bodies and all that, summer bodies. So, that. Okay.
Yes, teenagers have this negative issue because you always seek for validation. When you start thinking, I am enough the way I am, with my imperfect body, with my whatever flaws I have. Can you see, I have stage phobia, like this is a stage. At times, I get a phobia when I get to know what next sentence I'll be able to speak or not. But acknowledging it and accepting it, yeah, it is like that. And with practice, I might be able to handle that. Just be yourself, and then you will see you can empower your negative thoughts.
Now, let me add to it. So, it's a myth that only teenagers have lot of negative thoughts. We also get that. At every age, there are negative thoughts. We step out of our house and we feel ये नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा, and then वो नहीं होता. But the day we start manifesting, ये होगा, तो वो होता है. So my request to you is, when you step out with a negative thought, it will invite 500 friends, and negativity you will see, because everything will be negative around you. Move out with a positive thought, and it's going to invite 500 friends, and there will be positivity all around. Negative thoughts for what? For what? Body shaming? No one can be bigger than my size, but I'm super confident. Okay? कितनी भी मेरे में कमियां हैं. What's your problem? That's me. Have that confidence in yourself that no one is able to raise a finger at you and shame you for anything. The other day, we've taken a training on mental health and well-being because it's not my stage today, so I'm not poking my nose in between a lot. But NCRT, CBSE, UNESCO, they have taken it up as the most important agenda till 2030 to ensure that everyone is a happy person. So we have happy classrooms, we have mental health and well-being as a priority, particularly for the youngsters. एक चीज समझ के चलना, कुछ भी वेंचर करने लगे हो उसको ट्राई जरूर करना. अगर हो गया तो योर लेवल विल बी हियर, अगर नहीं हुआ तो यू आर हियर. नीचे तो नहीं जाओगे ना. बट द मोमेंट यू गो आउट विद नेगेटिव थॉट्स, ये नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा, अरे नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा, जैसे अभी है वैसे ही रहेंगे. Am I right? Am I right? But there are people who are scared of even trying things out. And when I said don't discuss with the adults and mature people, I did not mean don't discuss it with your friends. Discuss it with your friends, talk it over, and then go back home and talk to your parents or teachers and find out what is common between them. Because I will always say, there can be prejudices for which you may not get the right answer from certain people, but when you talk to your teachers and your parents, there is no reason कि आपको सही जवाब नहीं मिलेगा. Okay? So talk it over. और आप लोग को ना जो नहीं मिली होती ना चीज, वो तो इतनी बड़ी लगती है. There is one song, दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का खिलौना है, मिल जाए तो मिट्टी है, ना मिल पाए तो सोना है. जो चीज नहीं मिली वो तो इतनी बड़ी हो गई कि उसने स्ट्रेस दे दिया, और जो मिल गई, look at other people, how many of them want to live your kind of life? What are your blessings in life? Enjoy them and be happy and keep control of this. Keep this light, keep this happy. मेरे पास जो है, I am the best. दूसरा इंसान प्रॉब्लम कर रहा है, मैंने आज आपको ये ग्लास दिया, आपने पकड़ा तो ये आपका हुआ, आपने पकड़ा ही नहीं तो ये ग्लास मेरा है. अगर कोई मेरा मजाक उड़ा रहा है, कोई मेरी शेमिंग कर रहा है, it's not my problem. When I go out to parties, there may be people who must be saying, oh she's short, oh she's fat, oh she's this, she's that. But I'm enjoying. And what do I come back home with? Good memories, enjoyment. What they are talking, कुछ है तो लोग बातें कर रहे हैं ना, कुछ होगा ही नहीं तो लोग बातें क्या करेंगे. So let them enjoy at my cost. I want to be happy. I want to be balanced. I want to be successful in life. आपने एक हाथी को देखा है कितना बड़ा होता है, वो चलता जाता है, लोग पीछे कितनी भी गाली दे. So be like that. Stop bothering about what people say about you. Be in control of your emotions. Emotions will come, but you should gather the strength. I have a 6-year-old granddaughter, and I have taught her, whatever you don't like, do it. And whatever she doesn't like, she'll just say, that's it. And it works for her, and she keeps moving. She doesn't slow down. She gets bullied in the bus. So I told her, forget it, they will come to you. You start sitting with Didi. And she started sitting with Didi. But she did not get conscious or nervous. Okay? Because every time she did, Okay? Thank you.
I do want to say one more thing in this, and that is around, in teenagers, the question of rejection. And what I want to say is, every time you hear a no, every time you hear a rejection, okay, dig deeper into it. Let me give you an example. If I was to ask a good friend, or for that matter a random stranger, can you come and have coffee with me at Starbucks in Connaught Place at 6 in the evening today? And the person says no. What did the person say no to? And that is what I want you guys to really look at. Every time you hear the word no, or every time you face a rejection. Well, how I look at it is, maybe the person doesn't like coffee, maybe they want tea. Maybe the person is not available at 5 in the evening today, maybe they want to go at 7. Or maybe the person is not available today, they want to go tomorrow. Maybe the person doesn't want to go to Starbucks, they want to go to, a pasta or a barista or whatever else. Or for that matter, 10 other things. At the end, once I have ruled out everything, I will say the person rejected me. So what I want you guys, and this is a huge part of when you said teenagers have issues, with rejection, or teenagers face more challenges. That is one of the problems, that every time they face a rejection, an issue, a no, or a challenge, they look at all areas of their life and they add everything to say, all of this is wrong because of me. So start digging deeper into that aspect of rejection and then work on that specific aspect. Any questions?
So sir, overthinking and living in past means
And
not
being judgmental on many things.
Ma'am, as you always say that come out of your home thinking I am going to face 50 problems, and when you will face 10 problems, you will say, oh, what a lucky day I had.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, please.
How can we know that someone or even we are in mental stress or we are mentally unhealthy?
Let me not answer the question of how will you know if somebody else is in mental stress, because that's their own personal life.
He means how will I come to know I'm in mental stress?
Right. Listen to yourself. Okay. Start figuring out when you either start feeling too sad. Number two, when you start not enjoying the things that you normally do. And number three, when you are starting to not be as productive at things as you earlier were. If any of these three happens, if you are being too sad, if you are being not as productive as you were earlier, and if you are not enjoying things that you used to, it is time for you to figure out why either of these three are happening and seek support. The important thing in all of this is, one, identifying, and two, as important as identifying, seeking support. As I said, support is your own custom support. Support would be what you think is the right support for you. Okay? Yes.
Is it okay to be an overthinker at the age of teenage?
Yeah. It's your life. You do what you think is right. I mean, just be clear on what you are, why you are. Don't overthink on why you are overthinking. Is probably what I would say.
I would like to add something here. What I have come to understand of life of the teenagers is probably you are too exposed to contrary to what this session has to say. You are too exposed to this word mental health and well-being, stress, trauma, depression. When we were your age, हमें छोटी-छोटी चीजें इतनी खुशियाँ देती थी, You must not have seen that time for sure, Shama. We used to live in a mohalla, and when it used to rain, all of us used to get together and we used to block the main hole so that water doesn't drip out and make swimming pool out of that lane and start jumping there.
No, paper boats bhi thi.
Huh?
Paper boats bhi thi.
Paper boats we used to make, and when in the morning we used to wait at the bus stop, we used to make hopscotch. We used to take, you wouldn't have ever experienced it, elastic. Huh? Kiskisne khela hai? Oh wow. Outside the principal's office we used to play because we had a very small school. So play is going out of your lives, all of you. You are getting addicted to digital media. When I say, relax everyone. When I say addiction to social media is because if we keep sitting at one place for a long time, our mind gets dead and mind stops working. There has to be enough play in your life. You have to find out, ab kitne bhi dukhi ho na, picture khich rahi hai. So use this accessory as your accessory to embellish your life. And make sure you play a lot. This morning only I was talking to a friend and she says, I never realized that exercise could take away my migraine which medicines didn't. Yes, there is lot of benefit in exercises, there's lot of benefit in play, and there is lot of therapy in music also. If you're feeling little low at a time because you've been sitting at a place, switch on music, start dancing for a life, and you will be rejuvenated. So you've got to find out solutions for yourself, customize those solutions, what makes me happy, and have this word stress, depression, and mental sickness out of your dictionaries. You are all happy, born to be happy. Just keep yourself moving and stay blessed. How many of you promise to do that? पहले ज़माने में होता था, बच्चे बाहर जाते थे, मम्मी खींच के लाती थी अंदर रहो. अब है मम्मी खींच के भेजती बाहर जाओ. So that's the whole issue, and that's where the problem is cropping up. Okay? So play. You've got fields here. Those who don't have small houses, there is enough play in the school. So कल से मेरे ऑफिस के बाहर hopscotch. Okay? Enjoy life.
Great. So everybody. Firstly, I think we should do. Okay. Firstly, I think we should do a round of applause for Principal Ma'am for sharing her.
And when you start celebrating each other, happiness comes, because whatever you give out comes back to you. Start celebrating each other. Create a better world for your friend, create a better space for your friend, and automatically you will land up in that particular space. Okay? So that's the way. So let's hear it for the team also. And now it's time.
So now, firstly, I hope we have been able to provide some clarification, some input, and some help to you. I want you guys to do two things for me, please. Number one, I want you all to go home today, download the Solh Wellness application, and start looking at using it for your own mental health and for your own improvements as and when you feel down or as and when you think you require support. Of course, there is always the school counselor and the school structure to help you, but wherever you think there is more or wherever you think there is something different that you require, we have a whole bunch of solutions that are available for all of you to use. The second thing that I want you to do is when you go home, share with your parents that you went through this kind of an exercise and this kind of an activity today. It is extremely important for them to know for two reasons. One reason, they need to know what kind of school you go to. How appreciative is that school of the mental health of yourself, of you, not just in terms of the grades that you will get, but your overall development as an individual. And that's a very unique aspect for a school to provide. So I want your parents to know that. Number two, always know, while you will have stress in your life, while you will have a requirement for support in your life, your parents have the same. So they should know that there are platforms, there are people, there are solutions that they can also use, and they can co-participate with you in ensuring the mental health ecosystem around you is built better. One of the challenges in mental health is we don't want to talk about mental health with each other. We want to keep it to ourselves because the other person will judge us, because the other person will misuse the information we will share, or because the other person will not care. So start taking the first step and developing an environment. Of course, you guys are here with your friends, but developing an environment where you have that support structure, where you have that system, and where you have that appreciation between you, your parents, and your families. And I can tell you, it is extremely powerful. As I said earlier, You can improve your grades by 5% in a subject by spending X amount of time, or you can spend that time on your mental health and probably increase your grades in all subjects by 5%. With that, let me give it to Dr. Tarun. Yes.
As ma'am said about past life, how can we get out of the past life and leave our memories bad memories behind?
Memories are important. It's not about leaving them. It's not about. It's all about how you use them, how you want to learn from them. So there's nothing. You can't sort of just have a memory disappear from your mind. So memory stays. The more you actually try to make it disappear, the more it will stay there with you. The more you will start thinking about it, the more stronger it gets in your mind. So it's all about identifying what is that, the importance of that memory in your own life. And the less importance you give to it, the much earlier it will get disappear from yourself. The more importance you give to it, the longer it will stay from you. So there's nothing right or wrong about memories are there. The things which has happened in the past. Now you can't get away from it in a way, but it's about how you learn and how you develop from that. And the learning is something in your control, what you want to learn out of it. And that's where probably I would end by saying that a couple of things. So one is about the ability to reflect on things, and the reflection is about your own self, the things which you see around, and how you improve yourself with your daily reflection on things happening around you. And the last thing probably, it's about, for me, it's a healthy mind stays in a healthy body. So the more you give attention to your body and the physical health, and something what we all have heard about in mindfulness, it's about that how you can immerse yourself in something you really enjoy doing. And that can be your exercise, sports, playing music, listening to music, doing something as your hobby to follow. But what you're trying to do there is you're just not thinking about anything else. You immerse yourself in one thing, and that is about giving you a level of relaxation to your mind. And this is where you develop a much better healthy mind for your own self. So that's where probably I'll end. And I hope that you all learned something today from us. Thank you.
So my dear children, past is a history, tomorrow is a mystery. Today is today is a gift, and that is why we call it the present. So enjoy today and don't let your past confuse you. Jo hua, dump it. Move on, move on, move on in life. Learn from those experiences. I made those mistakes, I'm not going to repeat them. Yes, this is the good I did, I'm going to repeat it so that I get better results. But keep moving on. पानी के जैसे बनो जो कहीं नहीं रुकता. It makes its way and keeps flowing all the time. So with this, Ashhwika, you got something to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a quote from the Kung Fu Panda that everyone's hopefully seen. Scars heal, but they do not disappear, you know. I hope everyone's seen that fight scene between the crow and Kung Fu Panda. So the crow is like, how did you heal? How are you over it? You know, Kung Fu Panda is like, I guess the scars healed, you know, or they vanished. He's like, the scars don't just vanish. I agree that the scars don't vanish, but of course every scar heals, every memory will still remain with you, but it'll be faint and it'll be in the back of your mind, and you'll see that as a lesson, like how I see what happened as a lesson. I see everything when I'm over it, obviously not during that time because it's sad, but after it's gone, after it's past, I think of it as a lesson, and I think of it as how it has helped me become the person I am today and, you know, broaden my understanding.
So with this, may I hear for a
internship,
Just lastly, that if anyone wants to volunteer with us or you know, wants to become part of Ashhwika Foundation, our panel is here. Just follow us on Instagram. It's ASHHWIKA and Foundation. So we'd be open to volunteers who are helping for mental health or anyone who would like to, you know, go on ground and donate with us. And we give them certificates as well. So yeah.
And before we end, I actually sincerely want to thank ma'am. Not just thank her for asking us or for, you know, getting us into the school to come and talk to you, but also want to sincerely thank her for being that mental health activist and being that mental health crusader and being the person that runs the school and ensures she is available for everyone. I mean, we were today, a little while earlier, talking with ma'am about how she is so actively involved with everything in the school and, pretty much knows whatever is going on. While there are schools where principals, don't always do that. So, I mean,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I also want Dr. Tarun to felicitate ma'am with a certificate of appreciation
Thank you
from
so much.
Solh Wellness.
So my dear children, this is for you, and I am because you are. So thank you so much, Ashhwika, for this. Thank you. And now it's time to hear a round of applause for our students who've been so good and